cake, trampoline.
I believe Unami.
Umami is the secret one.
Yeah. Umami's my bad.
That's the secret one. And I can never remember the last one. Lasers. Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier dragon theorizing podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I'm Nate Balding.
And I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by the Monstroco Walking Coffin. This fully pneumatic plexiglass-fitted automaton will march your corpse to all your favorite haunts, reminding friends and enemies of their obligations to you long after you have died, decayed, and been ground to dust by its inner workings. You'll rest when you're dead? Not if we have anything to say about it. The Walking Coffin by Monstroco. What the fuck? Now in mahogany, walnut, and flaming hot rod.
What a cryptic... What a thing they've invented.
We got one for my great-great-grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
hot rod
just
style?
Hot rod style, obviously, which is, the only choice for anybody who's serious about dying. And it's, it's not comforting when it comes stomping up to Thanksgiving, but it does feel complete. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, great-great-grandpa's here. Everybody eat your turkey and try not to look through the plexiglass porthole and see his gnarled visage. And then when it's done, it stomps back down to the pool hall.
Just has, I picture like a Futurama device to where it's got little robotic arms, is smoking a cigarette, playing.
Yeah, you get it.
Of course.
You get it. It puts a sandwich up to the plexiglass and smashes it against it and makes a nom, nom, nom sound.
Oh my God.
And again, not pleasant, but more and more necessary these days.
As you said, it feels full. It feels complete.
People forget about their ancestors. This makes it much harder to do.
We're all getting a lot more used to regularly seeing a post-mortem rictus.
Mm-hmm.
And by 10 years from now, it's going to be a normal part of life,
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make mine walk up and down the West Coast, discovering bluegrass music.
Nice. You're doing the same thing that I'm going to do. We're going to work our entire life and then walking coffin vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you die, you pack that thing with sandwiches. I don't know why my vision of this is so sandwich heavy. I think I'm getting hungry.
Well, I'm thinking, to be honest, sandwich heavy as well, but I'm doing the opposite side of the country. I want Baja, California.
Okay.
But sandwiches still.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to incorporate a little bit of the Egyptian afterlife into mine and kind of take it all with me. My PlayStation will be in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
A number of sandwiches. My cat will be in a smaller walking coffin.
Yeah.
Following behind me.
The kitty coffin.
Yeah, Monstroco walking kitty coffins. What the fuck? What was that? Roger, what would you like? This is the 7th time that we've recorded this podcast because Roger got struck by a silencing ray.
My segment's being afflicted by this ray that is trying to silence me from speaking the truth.
Because he was telling the truth, and the Ponti weren't having it. So
yes.
May I take the speaking skull and tell you guys
Let
about
that baby flow?
And I'll tell you guys about an interesting and quite terrifying cryptid that I stumbled across recently. Didn't literally stumble across this. I'll just take the speaking skull. I will tell a secret into its mouth. I tasted gasoline once. And I will tell my segment. So this is, I guess a trigger warning. Spiders, Trigger warning.
Thank you.
Ugh.
As someone who has extreme
spiders.
arachnophobia, thank you.
I know someone who won't even play in a D&D game if there's going to be spiders in it. They'll like ask that beforehand and be like, nope, can't do it.
Is it your friend that's also a tiny fly?
No. We lost them to a giant spider. They were right to be afraid all along. This is a cryptid that I came across. A big popular thing to do in kind of paranormal circles recently is the iceberg method, where you show the iceberg of like hominid cryptids over the world, and then like the tip of the iceberg is like Bigfoot, and then as you go down it's like the Yeti, and then even further down it's like Orang Pendek, the wild man of Russia, the Yeren, etc.
Our news theme song is a rap about the conspiracy iceberg.
Yes, exactly. The conspiracy iceberg inspired that. This was on the iceberg, the cryptid bug iceberg, which you may remember informed part of my Scolopendra segment, where we discovered a lot about the gigantic centipedes reported in oceans the world over. This one is a creature known as Jbafofi. That's J''BAFOFI, like a weird kind of Wi-Fi, but fofi. Jbafofi. So the Jbafofi, also known as the Congolese giant spiders, are a type of large arachnid cryptid which is said to inhabit the forests of the Congo, possibly representing a new species of arachnida, probably. Description. This is also from cryptids.fandom.com. Dang, they do good work over at fandom.com.
They really do.
This says, most of the many anecdotal tales describe the spiders digging a shallow tunnel under tree roots and camouflaging it with a large screen of leaves. We know where this is going. Then they create an almost invisible web between their burrow and a nearby tree, stringing the whole area with a network of trip lines. Some oblivious animal that's likely soon to end up on the creature's menu will trip the line, alerting the spider. The victim will then be chased into the web. This type of predatory behavior is similar to that of several species of trapdoor spiders. So actually, it doesn't like jump out and grab you. I mean, I'm sure it will try, but if it misses you, it'll start chasing you, and you need to run the other way because it's trying to chase you into the web.
Right, you have to run at the spider.
Run at the spider and leap over it and go. God, that's an old reference. Okay. Natives claim the Jbafofi eggs are a pale yellow white and shaped like peanuts. That's fun. The hatchlings are bright yellow with a purple abdomen. Their coloration becomes darker and brown as they mature. Some of the peoples indigenous to the regions in the Congo where the Jbafofi has been seen assert that the spider was once quite common, but has since become very rare.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
this thing sounds terrifying.
Like,
Truly.
I'm sure it has an important part in the ecosystem.
I think it does.
Yeah, that's why the region is being overrun by giant flies. The very first sighting, this is from the History and Sightings segment, of which there are a few. The very first sighting of the Jbafofi by a Western observer was in the 1890s near Lake Nyassa, during which British missionary Arthur John Symes and his men came upon one of the creatures. All right. His men got themselves tangled in an enormous web, and two giant spiders, which were 2 and 4 feet in length.
No.
That's a 2-foot spider and a 4-foot spider, came out of their web and attacked them. They presumed that these were a male and a female of the species. Symes was bitten, but managed to escape after shooting one of them with a pistol. Bang, bang, bang. Pretty cool.
Right in the eyes.
Yeah. He subsequently developed symptoms including a deathly pallor, severe chills, and swelling around the area where he was bitten. He became delirious before dropping into unconsciousness and ultimately succumbed to these effects and died. got his
Ooh,
ass.
I hate that. I hate that the most.
Yeah, it's pretty
my
upsetting.
hairs are up.
The fullest account by Westerners appears in a cryptozoological book by George Eberhardt. On page 204, Eberhardt relates the terrifying experience of an English couple traveling through a region of jungle in what is now called the Congo. R.K. Lloyd and his wife were motoring in the Belgian Congo in 1938. Boy, I mean, you're just asking for it at this point.
These a couple British people vacationing in the Belgian Congo. They're down there doing something horrible.
Just colonizing the fuck out of the place in the most blood-drenched corner of fucking whitest Africa.
British people call that vacationing.
Yeah, exactly. You know what would be fun? Let's go
hunt man.
Let's go press our boot heel against the neck of the native population. In what is now called the Congo. R.K. Lloyd and his wife were motoring through the Belgian Congo in 1938 when they saw a large object crossing the trail in front of them. At first, they thought it was a cat or a monkey, but they soon realized it was a spider with legs nearly 3 feet long.
Big.
So that's like a fucking 6+ foot spider, maybe 7 with the body. That's too terrifying. I hate this. That's like truly Australian terrifying. Levels of horrifying.
Truly terrifying.
This is Africa. It's not Australia.
Cryptozoologist William J. Gibbons has hunted for what some think may be a living Congolese dinosaur called the Makole Mbembe, which I actually read an interesting article recently that was talking about the Makole Mbembe being an example of
Jordan?
Wow.
God damn it. They're trying to silence the truth today.
Everybody's the truth is apparently not out there in the way that we want it to be.
Anyway, for those who don't know, who I can't remember how to pronounce it, the African dinosaur, I guess it's been described, is like a brontosaurus as we know it. It's got the large body, the large legs, but an ultra long, stretched out head,
crazy long neck.
But I believe it is slightly more bloodthirsty.
Does it? It doesn't really attack people, does it?
I'm going to the Wikipedia.
I'm already there, baby.
Thank you. Hit us with it.
The possible explanation, this might be what Jordan's getting at, I don't know, but the most reasonable and agreed upon explanation is that the Mokele Mbembe is a legend based on the black rhinoceros, a species once common to Central Africa, where the stories of the Mokele Mbembe originated. The absence of evidence...
Which I don't buy.
Yeah. Apparently... The black rhinoceros is also like you don't see them around.
And plus, sure, I could believe the body. Like, they could be a good enough description of a body. Like, it's sitting in water, so you don't know how tall the legs are. I don't know why I care so much about this cryptid and misreportings of black rhinoceroses with it. But like the head is such a descriptive thing to where like, how does the rhinoceros, no horn of the rhinoceros could be that long or thick? That's a thick boy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's based on sight. I think the idea is that legends about the black rhinoceros eventually evolved into this other cryptid species after, long games of intergenerational telephone. And eventually they started talking about the Mokele Mbembe in the form that we know it as.
I enjoy it. Jordan's going to be back, so let's just riff for a little bit.
All right.
knew so much. This is like one of those cryptids that like they teach children about.
Yeah, well, because
like I remember learning about this guy in like weird crypto children's book that are like mysteries of the frontier with like the little drawings and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's there are accounts of people having seen something that they believe to be the Mokele Mbembe, so it makes sense that this would be it would at least be in maybe not necessarily like your science textbooks, but
because they're cowards.
Exactly, they refuse to see what's right in front of their eyes.
Let's hit this part, which I think Jordan might have also been going. Not sure what he wanted to hit exactly, but I find it fascinating that these encounters have occurred in the 21st century.
Yes.
BBC broadcast.
This is really interesting. Take it away.
So this TV show Congo, a collective interview with a group of Biaka pygmies. Sorry if I butchered your entire people's name wrong. Who identify as Mokele Membe as a rhinoceros while looking at an illustrated manual of wildlife, however. So that's a point against it. In 2016, a travel documentary crew from South Africa made a documentary about searching for Mokele Membe. Almost. I'll get it one day. Which they later sold to Discovery Africa. That's involving a lot of the financial history. The team spent a week in the Lekuala swamp region visiting various Aka villages, collecting stories of the creature's existence. They point out the difficulty of differentiating between the Mokele Membe's metaphysical and physical existence, however.
They spent 4 weeks.
Oh, 4
so
weeks.
They did a whole month-long investigation.
Cowards spend 2.
Well, they still had to probably turn it in, in time to get put on television or whatever.
Another film crew from Danish radio had a DNA scientist with them, and they traveled to Lake Tili in Congo. Or in Congo, I guess it's a country. I don't know anymore. And they didn't find the dinosaur, but they found green algae.
A new green algae.
Yeah, they found a new green algae. Jordan's joining us once again. Jordan, we vamped. You're muted.
Vampired, in fact.
You guys vamped the whole time?
We vamped the whole time. Well, we just went down Mokele Membe's thingy bobber, kind of fleshed it out. We just reached their 21st century exploration. Not sure where you wanted to go exactly.
Okay, well let's read more about the Jabba Fofi. Did you talk about his third expedition in search of the creature? He came upon natives who related their experiences with giant spiders. This is William J. Gibbons.
We did not.
That was the last thing that you talked about. And in my head, I should tell you this: I'm picturing an actual half man, half gibbon.
I'm looking for strange things. Have you seen any?
He's like Detective Chimp, but he's Professor Gibbon.
So he shared his experience with readers upon his return to Canada. This is a quote from William Gibbons about the Jabba Fofi. On this third expedition to equatorial Africa, I took the opportunity to inquire if the pygmies knew of such a giant spider, and indeed they did. They speak of the Jabba Fofi, which is a giant or great spider. They describe a spider that is generally brown in color with a purple mark on the abdomen. It's almost like a kind of a Black Widow situation, but with a purple mark. They grow to quite an enormous size.
To know that it's dangerous, not the fact that it's 3.5 feet long.
They grow to quite an enormous size with a leg span of at least 5 feet. At least 5 feet.
The smallest I found was 5 feet.
The giant arachnids weave together a layer made of leaves in similar shape to a traditional pygmy hut and spin a circular web, said to be very strong, between 2 trees with a strand stretched across a game trail.
So they're building entire homes.
Yeah. These giant ground-dwelling spiders prey upon the diminutive forest antelope, birds, and other small game, and are said to be extremely dangerous, not to mention highly venomous. I mean, they're dangerous and venomous?
Yeah, I mean, they're big enough that their bite is probably like getting stabbed with 2 knives.
Yeah, for real.
Like it's...
Yeah.
But I think they're referencing this in comparison to the platypus. That is venomous, but not dangerous.
Not entirely dangerous. I understand. Gibbons states, the spiders are said to lay white peanut-sized eggs in a cluster, and the pygmies give them a wide berth when encountered, but have killed them in the past. The giant spiders were once very common, but are now a rare sight. In March 2013, a video surfaced on YouTube of an alleged Jbafofi caught on a night vision camera next to a water hole near a tree in Mozambique. The Jbafofi appears out of the darkness for a brief moment while scurrying into the darkness on the far right of the screen. I have watched this video. It's nothing to write home about. It's maybe a shadow at best. Many of the natives describe the spiders as once being numerous, but now a vanishing species. Encroachment by civilization in the form of rainforest being converted to farming land may have driven spiders from their natural habitats. And that's pretty much all of the information that they have on the Jbafofi. For some reason, I wonder if it's like, it would have to be more tarantula-like to be that big, right? It couldn't be like a Black Widow type thing.
Well, you say that, and then Australia throws out all sorts of non-tarantula-based large spiders.
Got those orb weavers.
Immediately, I also thought tarantula as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it either way. Spiders can move in any fucking direction because they have so many legs. That's one reason I hate them. I think they're smarter than me. I think they could complete any test faster than me.
Yeah.
Do you think they got a pretty high ACT score?
I do, and I'm jealous. I think they got into a better college than me. But mostly the way they move freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah,
they're a little too fast.
There's a part of your brain that just reacts to the way that like spiders and even snakes move when they're moving really fast, where it's just like the primal monkey part of your brain is like, danger, enemy.
Yeah, the part
Very
where
much.
at a completely cellular level, you know, that thing is a monster that needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Well, that does it for my segment on the Jbafofi, which would have been relatively short had I not been knocked out by the same silencing anti-truth laser that got Roger in our first recording of this. So I now pass the speaking skull to whoever would have it.
Nate, hit us.
All right. I shall. Catching the speaking skull. Alley-oop into the next segment, where we go to the country of Bosnia to explore the power of a pyramid.
Ooh, the Bosnian Pyramids. I love these guys.
The Bosnian Pyramids.
I love these guys.
I'm pulling from Atlas Obscura, who apparently is also pulling from The Theory of Everything Else, A Voyage into the World of the Weird by Daniel Schreiber.
They do good stuff, that Atlas Obscura.
They do. This book was published in June of 2023 as well. So this is some new shit, or newish.
Okay.
You probably haven't ever heard of the small city of Visoko in Bosnia.
I have.
Yeah,
Okay,
what? I'm
fine.
hard for the Bosnian Pyramids, sir. This article is not written for me.
Come on, Roger. Let's get out of here.
Well, we'll get to some stuff.
Let's make out under our pyramid.
Look, once we veer into mystical tennis, that's for you.
Nice.
I certainly hadn't until I started writing this book. For a long time, it was a place that rarely popped up in international news. And even when it did, it usually only concerned one resident, Adnan Nevic, who became notable for being recognized by the United Nations as Earth's official 6 billionth human.
Oh.
Nice.
I didn't realize they were keeping that close of an eye on things.
Yeah, I want to know what my number was.
Dude, I wonder if you can find out.
Fortunes changed for the city in 2020, however, when Novak Djokovic, at the time the world's top-ranked tennis player, started making pilgrimages there so he could charge up on the cosmic energy being emitted by the local ancient pyramids built by an advanced lost civilization.
Fair.
There is truly a miraculous energy here, Djokovic told reporters. If there is a paradise on Earth, then it's here. Okay, I guess so. Sure.
I guess so.
Check this out.
Feels like
this is an estimate
there.
But I am the 4,782nd millionth 880,000th 164th person alive on Earth.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Where do you find that information?
Worldpopulationhistory.org.
It's on bullshit.lies.numbers.fucking fuck you.
The pyramids were first recognized as ancient artifacts by Bosnian American businessman Samir Osmanagic, maybe? I don't know. When he dropped in on Visoko in 2005. He couldn't help noticing the peculiarly shaped hills standing over the city. It looked suspiciously pyramid-y to him, and he wondered whether it might be artificial. When he checked the hill's orientation against a compass, he concluded the hill was perfectly aligned to the cardinal points.
Oh boy.
Which actually makes it isn't a pyramid only 3-sided? This is 4 sides.
No.
One north, south, east, and west. Surely that couldn't be a coincidence, he thought. A year later, he published his book, Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, in which he put forward his belief that these grass-covered hills were, in fact, the oldest man-made structures on Earth, dating them to 12,000 years ago.
Damn, dude. That's a swing.
And we're going to take you to his Kickstarter where he's going to buy a shovel and he's going to uncover that grass.
He's going to get a giant magnet.
And he's going to find the alloys from space.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't his first book to make bold claims. As well as being a successful businessman manufacturing steel parts in Houston, Osmanagic had a side career as a modern-day pseudo-archaeological author. In his 2005 book, The World of the Maya, he claimed that Mayan hieroglyphs indicate that their ancestors weren't from the planet Earth, but came from the Pleiades, a cluster of stars 444 light-years away.
Okay.
The Pleiadians are a speculated species of alien that conspiracy theorists believe periodically visit our planet. They're said to be humanoid in look with a lifespan of 1,000 years, according to Osmanagic. When they arrived here, they also created an advanced civilization in Atlantis.
Ah, that was them.
So this is the guy we're dealing with here. This guy goes on to say, I should mention that despite the hills now being called the Bosnian Pyramids and being located in the Valley of the Pyramids, archaeologists and geologists from all over the world would very much like you to know that they're absolutely not that.
Okay.
The unusual geology of these hills is a very natural phenomenon known as flat irons.
Okay.
Which is when land forms in a triangular sloping shape due to erosion-resistant layers of rock lying on top of softer strata.
Noted.
Similar hills are found all over the world.
If
in
you're
fact,
so
on the way to
sure,
Boulder.
then give him a shovel. Let him dig.
Let him dig. Let him dig. Dig up their bones. Pull out their tongue.
Fortunately for Osmanagic, many high-ranking officials have ignored the science, including 2 Bosnian presidents, one of whom, Suleiman Tihish, said of it, one does not need to be a big expert to see that those are the remains of 3 pyramids.
Nice.
The city council itself even got on board by investing 250,000 euros into tourism off the back of the interest in the pyramids. Since coming up with his initial hypothesis, Odmanagish, often referred to by the locals as Pharaoh, has led numerous archaeologist digs on the site. So he's got his shovel. Sure. Discovering along the way a total of 5 pyramids, evidence of artificial walls built by an ancient civilization, a cosmic Wi-Fi system that can send messages across the galaxy in an instant,
Wait,
and
what?
miles of underground... What?
No, go on. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, it's the cosmic Wi-Fi system with an instantaneous text messaging.
Yeah, what's so hard to understand about that?
Sorry, yeah. My bad.
And miles of underground passages previously thought to have been built for mining. Nearly 20 years on, however, he's yet to find any evidence that satisfies the more conventional archaeologists who question his claims regarding the hill's origins.
Mining Bitcoin, maybe.
But I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Because then in 2020, the pyramids received their biggest boost yet when one of the greatest tennis players of all time, Novak Djokovic, started visiting the town and meditating inside the tunnel complex near the pyramids.
I thought it was going to be Andre Agassi.
No, he's out of the game at this point. Although maybe the pyramids could shave a few. He could go back in time a little bit. He could be 25 again. This next section of the article is called "Positive Energy is Very Important to Djokovic." Positive energy is very important to Djokovic and something he directs to many areas of his life. Indeed, in his roller coaster of a book, Serve to Win, the 14-day gluten-free plan for physical and mental excellence.
Gluten-free, baby.
Yeah.
He shares these many beliefs with the reader, including the fact that he believes that conversation is very influential on the food we eat. Well, according to Djokovic, any negative conversation around broccoli, for example, might result in it being stripped of its nutrients as well as its taste.
Wow. So he's really crazy.
Yes.
Or he's crazy like a fox, right?
Right. Okay.
As a result, Djokovic won't allow any negative energy to get near his dinner table. This means a ban on texting and emailing and watching television.
What? What if you're watching something like fun and carefree?
I guess you don't want anything. I mean, maybe like advertising gets in there.
Some of the best meals of my life have been spent around the TV like a family.
Mm-hmm. Watching the
Faces
last
of
episode
Death.
of Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Eating the last episode of Dallas.
Remixing the theme song to Dallas as a disco hit.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, Djokovic won't allow any negative. That means ban on texting, blah, blah, blah. In his book, Djokovic explains, I believe that if you are eating with some kind of fear or worry or anger, the taste of the food and the energy you get from it won't be as powerful. Wow. What you give is what you get.
Okay.
As a Beatle.
Yeah.
And although positive chat is allowed, there isn't much of that either, as Djokovic basically spends much of the meal involved in mental dialogue with his food.
Crazy.
Nice.
After each bite, he places the fork back down on the table and becomes entirely focused on the chewing. Okay. He wants to instruct the food where it needs to go so it can help in the healing of any wounds he may have acquired during recent tennis matches.
Go into my tummy. Go this time, go into my tummy, then to my elbows.
I mean, overall, he is doing a very crazy version of mindful eating, which is better for your digestive system to eat nice and slowly and focus on chewing.
That's what they say.
It's true.
But this is the most hilarious way to do it.
Here's a quote from Djokovic. As I chew, the process of digestion is already starting. The enzymes in my saliva mix with the food so that when it hits my stomach, it's a fully formed piece of information.
Djokovic's enzymes.
Yeah, enzymes that turn your food into stomach memes.
Hell yeah.
Djokovic's belief that food and drink respond to our conversations comes from when he witnessed some food and drinks transformed from being in a toxic state to becoming edible and drinkable again, simply by someone beaming happy thoughts at them.
Wow, wow,
You know-
wow, 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 wow.
And it
In an
only
on-
cost him $500.
In an online chat with wellness guru Shervin Jafaraya, or Jafaraya, probably, Djokovic explained that scientists have proven that molecules in the water react to our emotions to what is being said.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I like angry water myself.
Oh, man. Nothing like a good pensive fruit juice.
Yeah, I hear you can get angry water. That's basically AG2, right? If you go
Isn't that
above and beyond AG1.
Isn't that just tequila?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like it.
Angry water?
Any water with a worm in it. It's going to be pissed. Though he doesn't specify exactly which experiment demonstrated this, what Djokovic might possibly be referring to is a researcher who isn't named, showing how water would react if you subjected each glass to positive and negative emotions. So this guy, this unnamed researcher, supposedly did a thing where he took a glass of two different glasses of water, screamed at one, was just really hostile towards it, and then to the other one, he projected love and happiness. And after a few days, the negative glass turned slightly green. Djokovic describes it as looking as if algae had started growing, where the other one just remained crystal clear. Sounds crazy, right? I know, wrote Djokovic in Serve to Win. But to me, that test is proof that every single thing in the world shares the same kind of energy. People, animals, the elements, everything.
The elephants even?
I like him going
elements,
to the water.
but also elephants.
Oh,
I like him going to the water. You'll never become an ice cube.
Elephants are over 103% water.
Djokovic's interest in experimenting with alternative ways of consuming his food properly began when he was contacted by a doctor named Igor Katajevic after Djokovic's game collapsed at the 2010 Australian Open.
Wow.
When Katajevic heard that asthma was being given as the reason for the collapse, he decided to get in contact with the tennis star because he thought it was something more.
Tell him the secret about yelling at broccoli.
Kind of, yeah. This is kind of wild. Katajevic was convinced the tennis player had an undiagnosed gluten intolerance and decided to diagnose him using a method employed by natural healers called kinesiological arm testing, which requires patients to hold their arms straight out in front of them while a second person attempts to push it down. The exercise is then repeated, only this time the kinesiologist introduces another element.
Gets naked.
God. Introduces another element to see how it affects the resistance of the outstretched arm. In Djokovic's case, a slice of bread was held against the tennis champ's stomach. When Katajevic depressed Djokovic's arm, Djokovic was noticeably weaker than when there was no bread present.
Ah, yes. Science.
Yep. Djokovic.
This is like something you do to find out if someone's a witch.
Yeah.
I thought it was something that you do to find out the sex of the baby.
Yeah.
No, that's where you hold a crystal over the pregnant woman's stomach, and if it starts to move in a certain direction, it'll give you the sex.
Yeah, you hold it over her sandwich.
Science is so cool.
This, of course, was accepted as definitive proof of a serious gluten intolerance. It talks a little bit about how Djokovic was an anti-vaxxer. He almost didn't. Actually, I don't think he did play in the Australian Open this year. Or maybe it was last year. One of the years. Many have put his unorthodox interests and behavior down to his extraordinarily traumatic childhood in war-torn Serbia. It suggested his alternative views are precisely what he needs in order to help him escape the trauma of his early years. 2.5 months every single day and night, bombs coming into the city. We saw planes flying over our heads and literally rockets and bombs landing half a mile away, he told CNN. But I think a lot of people probably experienced that and didn't become
bread wizards
people that talk to broccoli to cover up their trauma.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily play into it, but it is interesting. The conditions under which the future champion trained were bombs were raining down while Djokovic would be outside training up to 5 hours every day, which probably is a little worse than, if you're like in your bomb shelter basement or something.
Mm-hmm. Your work cannot stop my game.
His coach, former tennis pro Jelena Genkish, who had previously coached tennis champion Monica Seles, took on Djokovic at age 6 and would select each day's location for tennis practice by getting him to travel to wherever the most recent bombing raid had occurred, assuming it now to be safe, because they figured NATO planes probably wouldn't hit the same place twice. They're like lightning.
Yeah.
When he wasn't in bombed out swimming pools, he'd be up in the Serbian mountains hitting balls while surrounded by wolves. Quote, "I spent a lot of time with wolves," writes Djokovic. "This is wolf energy. I'm not kidding."
Good Lord. It sounds like you're kidding, dude.
There's also Djokovic's belief in telepathy and telekinesis, which sits alongside the aforementioned interest in kinesiology, Bosnian Pyramids, and not talking rudely around his food.
Look, I talk a lot of shit for being a guy who has a paranormal podcast, but in all seriousness, he doesn't sound like a crazy person. He keeps like checking the reality of it and being like, I know this sounds crazy, but this is what I do, which is a sign of like a pragmatic dude who has discovered some things that mentally help him.
Yeah, no, for
and
sure.
Good for you.
Good for you.
He did for a while, and this is, he had a guru named Pepe Imaz.
Sure, same.
A former tennis player turned coach who runs a tennis school with a philosophy of preaching love and peace, as well as introducing meditation and, quote, very long hugs into the routine of players.
A regular infinite jest.
I mean, which really does kind of sound like his childhood was taken away by tennis and bombings. I'm sure the very long hugs were quite nice feeling. Here's the last thing. And this kind of gets to him not being crazy, even though the first sentence is Djokovic is flat out batshit. But he isn't unique in holding odd beliefs. The history of tennis is littered with players who've made it to the top despite their wild ideas, like the 1950 U.S. Open champion Tappy Lawson, who used to get mid-match coaching tips from an invisible eagle sitting on his shoulder. Or Serena Williams, who will only wear one pair of socks throughout an entire tennis tournament. Or Rafi Nadal, who won't stand on any of the lines on the court between points. Anyway, yeah, that's some wild tennis stuff that has a marginal connection to the ostensible Bosnian Pyramids.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Now, before I grab the speaking skull, go on.
That segment's Game, Set, and Nuts.
Do you want to wrap up, Jordan, before I continue on with the Ponte, or should I carry this over to the next episode?
I think you're good. I think keep going.
Let's keep going. All right, Ponte, you tried stopping me once, and I think that's because I did not credit the people who wrote what I'm using. I will now continue with the Ponte Party, a Ponte deep dive of the star race called the Ponte, from a book called The Gardeners of Intellect by Jeff Demers and Saraha, or Sarah, who is a Ponte. To catch you up, the Ponte are a star race that we would consider the Greys. However, they do not like that as a term. They think it is negative. They are the star race that abducted Betty and Barney Hill and a number of other humans on what they call a wellness check, kind of like what we would do to lions in the Serengeti and whatnot, and where we trank them up and then take them somewhere, stare up their stuffs, and then go like, "You're healthy," and then send them out with the tag. They're telepathic, 800 years ahead of us. They want us to join them in creating the 7th hybrid race of Earth. Our two races are going to meet in the middle and create something new and beautiful in their eyes. They're multidimensional beings. They have a hard time staying in our dimension, the 3rd dimension, but they could be around you right now in the 5th dimension.
Breath.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I mean, if they're
doing
quantum...
one long Kegel.
Yes, that's exactly it. They're holding it, and then when they can't hold it anymore, they go back to the 5th dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Their lifespan is 400 years. They're about 5 feet tall at most. They're hairless, but they like to wear wigs and hats. They're studiers of
cosplay.
Earth.
This is the movie Paul.
I mean, Paul's a Ponte.
Paul's a Ponte.
He's a gray, at least.
Doesn't he wear a wig and a hat?
So they love studying humans and are infatuated with what they wear, and they wear hats, they wear wigs. There's one called Radar who's in love with the character Radar from MASH that dresses up like Radar.
Okay, hold up. That is my thing.
Well, someone else is biting your style.
Unbelievable.
And
Someone
listen to the
goddamn 5th dimension.
Listen to the other 2 episodes because they're phenomenal. We go over their eating habits, what they find funny, what they do to excrete their waste. We go into it. Listen to those other 2 episodes.
Is it a cube?
It is not. Now, some other things they enjoy for their habits, they like to smile. They have a great sense of humor. However, they don't have an extreme sport competition.
Roger's reading their Tinder profile right now.
Yeah, for real. I like music. I don't have an extreme sports.
No American Ninja Warrior for them. No Ultimate Beastmaster.
We need to bring them rollerblading.
Ooh. Ponte, if you're listening to our media, thank you, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Blade.
Check out rollerblading.
Blade, baby, you'll love it.
They love dancing in large groups.
Watch the movie Solar Babies. In fact, that's that's got space things and rollerblading.
Nice.
So they love dancing in large groups and fast songs, 140 beats per minute. That's their preferred beat. Flamenco dancing. They love it. They like flying kites. They like flying kites with birds flying around it. It's a whole thing. They do the dance of the birds. They're emotional and can cry. They don't feel pain, though, but they can receive the thought of pain.
What?
Yeah. So, like, you can prick them. And they don't feel it like that, but like they have like this thought of pain. Like when you remember your arm broke and you kind of like remember that pain.
Okay.
For children, they don't like pair off like you and I. Like they don't select their mate. Everything's chosen for them. There's deposits of DNA of each Ponte. And when something is needed, they make 2.
Exactly. ChatGPT calls the shots on.
Yeah. So wait, is it like a test tube baby situation, or are they just assigned a pork partner?
No, they're not. So no one's porking.
Okay.
And just the genes are in a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the genes are pulled from the thing and they make both pairs of the genes to recreate and keep the balance going,
Okay.
And it's decided everything you do at birth, your education is in the tube. And by the time you're outside the tube, you're at college level.
Oh,
so your whole gestation period is you getting educated in what you will do, which was decided for you around the 2nd trimester.
Wait, so they have to gestate for multiple trimesters, even though they're lab grown?
Yeah. I think that's the same with human lab babies. You stay in the tube until 6 months and then you're put in the mom with all your skills. I know how in vitro works.
But in vitro is inserted into a person.
I'm pretty sure it's test tube baby until 6 months and then they shove it up the womb.
Yeah, with it, they give them a smartphone and they're like, you're smart now, but you still need to cook.
So one of the reasons why they haven't properly interfered with us is that we are not to their evolutionary level or like where alien star races will interact with us. There's a prime directive. And right now we're at the point to where our free will can still be influenced and we're not at our final state in terms of our star readiness.
Yeah, right. It's what is it? Class 1 is
our
travel.
species class.
Right. We're not even class 1 yet. We're class nothing.
No.
Class 0, baby.
Yeah, I think we have to leave the solar system on a manned flight to be class 1.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ponti don't have a concept of love, but they're very much interested and excited by learning new things.
Okay. Teach me
One
how
might
to
even
love
say
Earth,
they
man.
love to learn.
Now, however,
they just don't get why.
They don't have a concept of love like we have, though it is somewhat different for them. The Ponti send out a vibration to an object. This object can be anything, a tree, plant, rock, animal, anything that supports a consciousness. The vibration is returned and is measured by the frequency of intention. I wonder if I love as much as the plants in my apartment.
Boy, the frequency of intention sounds like a book that my mother would buy to send to me because she's afraid that I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
Now let's get into what everyone's been waiting for. And I know you might not have thought about it, but when I say you will, the Star Nation craft of the Ponti, we're talking their ships, how they get around.
Ooh.
So just like many other star nations, their crafts are organic. Everyone's flying organic ships. This means that they are grown in an extruded form, and once completed, a consciousness will be placed into the craft, making it a living entity.
Okay, I thought you just meant that it was a Whole Foods brand spaceship. Fully organic, gluten-free vegan ship.
I mean, perhaps if you put in a good food into it, you can have an organic living entity craft. But no, they're shoving consciousness in there. A typical craft is then controlled by at least 3 pilots who are linked to the craft for operation. And there can be more, but a minimum of 3 are required.
Okay.
All Ponti can pilot a craft, and this is one of the lessons they learn at an early age.
Oh.
Each craft has a consciousness of its own, which has its own mannerisms.
Oh, wow.
You got sassy craft. You got cranky craft. You got slutty crafts.
All right.
Cool.
You have, I don't know, whatever the other ones are.
I don't want to fly this one. He's a real asshole. He's a real right-wing 4chan piece of shit.
These craft do not eat, but get their nutrients and information in light form, and this keeps the crafts healthy and connected to the collective. To operate a craft, the pilots must insert their hands into finger pods and use telepathy to connect to the craft and operate it together. Sitting is optional.
Oh.
When situated in the craft, pilots maintain their position until the journey is completed.
So sitting's optional, but really, you probably want to have one. This is going to be a couple light years.
Yeah, you're doing some time in that position. All Ponti craft are created on their home planet and are naturally interdimensional. I have 4 types of craft for you to look out for. We have the skipper craft, 3 pilots, a small crew, saucer-shaped, and is very fast. We have the medium.
The Marianne.
we have
the Gilligan.
We have the medium transport, 3 pilot, small crew, a cargo room, and looks like a small tubular rod. The large transport, 3 pilots once again, a crew, a large cargo room, still looking like a tubular rod.
So is that the Tic Tacs?
That would be one of the Tic Tacs, truly. Okay. Yes.
TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok. Tic Tac on TikTok.
Tick tick.
I see.
Sunfish I'm sure that you can find what we're talking about by typing in exactly that into TikTok. Sunfish class, 3 pilots to 6 pilots, large crew, extremely large craft, and lengthy, equipped with a neutronic fusion type plasma propulsion. Typically are faceted, tapered, black, and have cloaking abilities. I think they're kind of referencing those larger boomerang shaped black craft, the larger ones. As the craft approaches a mountain for exit or entry, an equalization of matter processes begin between the craft pilots and mountain. When this happens, every pilot and the craft is in contact with each other, including the mountain. On entry or exit is granted, so the mountain's agreeing to take this in.
Right, and they're just like phasing through.
Yes. Once access is granted within the strict specifications needed for the process of transfiguration of matter. Hence, there are no need for hangar doors.
Oh.
That could be why we just see shit flying into the mountains, or perhaps even volcanoes.
Sure.
Let's talk about, before I send you the skull back to wrap up, Jordan, the mission of the Ponti.
Okay.
The Ponti monitor the oceans here and Earth's developmental climatic cycles among the insects and animal life, interacting with the inhabitants for centuries and being involved at times with our development. It is only recently that we as a race have evolved to the point of imminent contact.
Okay.
Now,
bring it on.
As our technology supersedes beyond the natural progression of sustainability, interaction is needed to normalize ourselves with the Earth's surroundings. So they're going to help us once we get too far, supposedly, and correct what's happening.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's like Jordan said, any time now.
Which is kind of what Sue was saying.
Something's got to give.
Which is kind of what Sue was saying the opposite of when she was all nah, they're not going to save everyone. There's too many. So some confliction there. Say that again?
They'll save us, right? Because we've been doing the podcast.
Well, they're going to save us for doing the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we're learning their language.
Dude, we're learning their language.
Yeah.
Check this out. Tick, tick, tick is thank you.
Did you?
Yeah, good or pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
To say you are most welcome, Maha'a Kalel.
Maha'a Kalel.
And of course, Tacha, a ground and roasted legume type bean drink with a deep, dark flavored natural sweetener. So you know what to order.
I'm going to try and order Tacha at a Starbucks later to see what happens.
Give me those legumes.
So the Ponti, as most Star Nations beings, understand the relationship of living harmoniously with all. Their mission as the gardeners of intellect is to seed and or monitor the development of growing races to fortify the intelligence of life to appreciate the all. They have seeded star children on Earth and other planets, and when awakened, the ones who will seek them out for further development. It should be noted here that the seeded children come here of their own choice and can be of any age, gender, or race. The star seeded children can be from any of the connected hybrid families pertaining to the development of the 6th hybrid race, which is currently what we're becoming. Then when we're all there, we become the 7th race, a superstar nation, I assume.
Hell yeah.
But that is the long and the short, wrapping up the Ponti party.
What are you guys going to do with your Ponti enlightenment?
Well, I mean, we're becoming 7th
hybrid race. We're going to skip the 6th because that's what we're working on now. We're going the ultimate form.
I want
I guess it depends on what my hybrid other parts are.
Yeah, I want Goro arms and I
Mhm.
want ice powers.
Nice. I'm going for an advanced a mental ability. I would
Nice.
like to beat Mike Tyson's Punch Out for the NES. I want the clairvoyant skill
Well, come on.
to block
gotta
his
be-
ultimate technique.
It's got to be something realistic.
Oh, then I want Goro arms too.
There it is.
Uh,
Nobody can beat Mike Tyson, Roger.
I guess I'll just take Raiden powers if we're just all doing
Okay.
Mortal Kombats.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
All right, the non-Goro of the group, though.
And then
All right,
yeah,
fine. I'll do
you'll be
Goro
ostracized.
plus Goro plus Superman's.
Nice. And then the three of us combined can maybe beat Mike Tyson. Guys, thank you so much for your continued support of the show. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for existing in this three-dimensional plane. I know it's hard on you. AWOL, Janet Bravo, Cheesebot was
Cheesebot.
here.
Thanks for
Read.ai
sticking
meeting
through
notes.
the,
Thanks for coming and kicking it. Yeah.
The issues.
We
Despite-
survived an episode. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood, everyone.
Despite our technical issues and the strange pain in my shoulders that I think has something to do with my posture, I'm working on it. Until next time, shout out. Freaking check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram and maybe Threads eventually. Who knows? So the bird
I
the
feel
bird
like
app has fractured.
The bird
I feel like
app's
that's
fractured beyond
flown.
use. It's
Yeah.
no longer fun. It's just now frustrating.
Yeah. So there's a great exodus happening. Just follow us wherever we go.
If you go to our
we'll keep being
website,
strange.
werewolfradar.com, that's truly the best way. Let's just go back
Yeah.
to the 90s. Websites only. We have
Yes.
werewolfradar.com with links to
Dancing
Let's write it
baby
in-
GIF.
Plus,
Dancing
Let's write it in
baby GIF.
HTML by hand.
Yes. Come join the Discord. There's a lot of fun shit happening there.
links to the Discord on our YouTube. Join us there. We're using that for our social. Sharing is fun. Channels pop in.
Hell yeah.
Sharing, as they say, is scaring at Werewolf Radar.
I mean,
That is what they
I
say.
should change that. God damn it. All right. Well, it's now sharing is scary.
But that does it for this episode of Werewolf Radar. Until next time, as always, our sign-off line on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Punch
Punch
the
the
moon!
sky,
Spaceman Moon! Damn it. I gotta go.
All right, guys, we